Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
This the monster from the swamps, Regis Rougarou Program.
Hey, what's up? This is King Carlos Molina, former IBF world champ.
This is Michael, the Bounty Hunter, 2012 Olympian and your people's champ.
This is Charlie Edwards, flyweight champion of the world.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 236 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Coastman. I'm joined, as ever, I should say, because he's been on the show many weeks in a row now, by the undefeated heavyweight / cruiserweight prospect, my co-host these days, Mr. Hasim Jr. Hasim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joey. Big ups, man. I love being on the show. I love talking boxing, and I miss boxing, so let's give the fans what they want.
Absolutely. And we're going to start by doing something we were supposed to do on last week's show but forgot to do, that being giving our kind of ratings from the divisions. Obviously, we started 2 weeks ago now from heavyweight right down to 154, super welterweight. And we stopped just before we got to the welterweight division, so we're going to carry that on. Like I say, I apologise that we didn't do it on last week's show. We're going to get through that, and then there's going to be the one interview, the sole guest on this week's show. It's going to be the former world champion, Mr. Bones Adams, obviously a Super-Bantamweight world champion. So that'll be interesting, believe me. And let's just crack on straight away with these ratings kind of thing. Obviously, we're just going to mention our best fighter in our own opinion throughout the weights from 147 down as far as we can go. So 147, Hasim for me, Terence Bud Crawford. That's my guy.
I love Terence Bud Crawford. That's my guy too. I've been watching him for a long time. He used to actually train when he first started his career. I've seen him training. He used to train with Kenny Adams, and Kenny Adams is a trainer of mine. And I got a lot of love for Terence Bud Crawford. But my favorite and who I think is the best welterweight would be Errol Spence Jr.
And obviously, we all want to see that fight between the pair. I've said this before. I don't want to sound like an Errol Spence detractor in any way, but the opponents that he's boxed, I just struggle to pick out a real 147 type of guy. Obviously, Sean Porter was fair enough. That was a close fight. He definitely did enough to win, but it was a close fight. Mikey Garcia, a much smaller guy coming up. Lamont Peterson, the same. Chris Algieri. These are some of his best wins. His best wins have come against guys that were coming up in weight, 1 or 2 weight classes as well. And obviously, Errol Spence is absolutely massive for 147. The Kell Brook win is a solid win. I'm not taking that away from him. It was a tremendous fight. It was a very close fight up until the stoppage in the 11th round. But there's backstories to that where obviously Kell was coming off that loss at middleweight, which was just a crazy career move against Golovkin. He was coming off that loss. He crashed the weight, and like I say, it was highly competitive up until the stoppage. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. There's just something there that stops me from saying he's the best welterweight in the world. I mean, Terence Crawford, what he did obviously at 140 was tremendous, and that is 140. But just based off of that and the skill set he possesses, I think he is a very hard man to beat. So is Errol Spence, by the way. Obviously, like I say, it's the fight we all want to see. And a big shout out to Keith Thurman, a guy I've been a fan of for a long, long time. I still think he's probably got the best 2 wins at welterweight at the minute. Those 2 wins over Danny Garcia and Sean Porter back to back. Brilliant wins. And he's coming off that loss to Manny Pacquiao. No shame in that. He started very slow, didn't he? And he got dropped in the first round, Thurman. But as the fight went on, he showed his class. And, I want to see him in the mix with these guys as well. I don't think anyone has an easy night with Keith Thurman, in my opinion. If you want to add anything to that, Hasim, you're more than welcome to before we move down to 140.
I just think that, Terrence Crawford's wins, they came against smaller guys too. Yeah. Even though they were at 140, they're still smaller guys. And I just think that Earl doesn't get enough credit. He's fighting the people in his weight class. He's dominating them. Aside from the Sean Porter fight, he pretty much has been dominant throughout his entire career. I mean, the Kell Brook fight was competitive, but he stopped him, which is to end the fight in dominating fashion. I believe that he wouldn't get credit as far as size wise unless he beat your Dennis Ugas or like maybe a Pacquiao, maybe a Keith Thurman. But as far as 147 goes, he's the bully. He's the big dog. And that's not his fault. When you take into consideration that these guys have a set weight class, they have a set and agreed on contract weight to make, it's no excuses. This guy was too big, this guy was too small, because at the end of the day, if those guys would have beat him, then it would have been a celebration. So I just feel like Earl can't be beat at 147 or 154. I don't think anybody could beat him at any of those weight classes. His toughest fight to me would be a move up to 160 to fight Canelo. That would be something that I would love to see. And Earl putting on more power, probably better conditioning at 160. I think that he's a force to be reckoned with in boxing. That's just my opinion.
I'm going to really throw a hard question your way now that you've mentioned about that. You mentioned him possibly stepping up to 160. Let's just say in some crazy world, Demetrius Andrade decided to go back down to 54 and Spence went up. Who wins?
Why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this? Listen. If Earl Spence and Demetrius Andrade fought, I'm picking. Oh my goodness, man, that's tough. That's a tough fight to pick because right now I think that Demetrius Andrade is pound for pound the best, and I think that if they fought today, I think Andrade will win. But if they fought 2 years, 3 years from now, I think I would give it to Earl. I don't want to see that fight. I don't think it's a fight that would be appreciated by the casual boxing fan. So it's not a big fight that's going to draw big numbers, huge numbers. That's not a fight I want to see. Stylistically, it's a great matchup. It's a boxer and a boxer puncher, and sheesh, that fight is like a one of those fights where it's like, okay, we know both of these guys are good, but what's gonna happen when that bell rings? Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine the chess match between two extremely high class fighters, and these are two guys that I think are gonna retire undefeated. So I hope they don't meet each other, and they're both good, real close friends of mine. And like I said, I think right now, in this moment, I think Andrade will have the edge. But I think probably a year, 2 years from now, I would give him probably 2 years, 2 or 3 years from now. I think Earl will be able to get him. But that is a classic, an instant classic to me. Being a pure boxing fan, I've been a boxing fan my whole life. That is a pure classic matchup, and yeah, that would be something that I wouldn't be too happy to see, but I definitely would be tuned in
for sure. And yeah, just touching on Terence Crawford's wins since moving up. He's only had the 4 fights at welterweight. Obviously, the first one being against Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn in the skill department, he's not even worthy of being in the same sentence really of Terence Bud Crawford, and Crawford stopped him, which I didn't think he'd do, especially because it was his first fight at welterweight as well. That was a good win over Jeff Horn when he stopped him there in the 9th. Then obviously he boxed the relatively untested, but he was making a lot of noise, Jose Benavidez Jr., the younger brother of no, he's not the younger brother. He's the older brother of David Benavidez.
David.
Yeah, so he stopped him in the 12th round. Then obviously he stopped Amir Khan in that weird one where Amir Khan was claiming a low blow. He stopped him in 6 rounds, and then obviously his last fight against Egis Kavalauskas, who was a very good fighter, by the way. And it wasn't easy work for Crawford, but he managed to get him out there in the 9th. By the way, a little fact that some people don't know, and I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but when Amir Khan and Terence Crawford boxed, they had a press conference in London when they announced the fight, and that was at a venue that I recommended at the exact time that I recommended when I was asked by the person who was trying to set it all up. So there's a little fact that you don't know. I was basically the guy that pulled the strings. Okay. But anyway.
Okay, that's what's up.
Well, yeah, I don't think that the person would appreciate me saying that, but it is what it is. Anyway, 140. Let's go down there. For me, I know we're going to disagree here, Hasim, but Josh Taylor is the man at the weight for me. Obviously, a very, very big southpaw. He can punch, brilliant body puncher, great feet, solid amateur career and the rest of it. Obviously beat Regis Prograis, who, I'm not going to lie, I thought Regis Prograis was going to win that fight. But yeah, he beat Regis Prograis for me quite fairly, even though it was one of the best fights of 2019. Then obviously you've got Jose Ramirez, who I think you're going to pick, but Prograis for me would beat Ramirez, and Ramirez has got a tough fight against Victor Postel when all this COVID-19 stuff comes to an end. But yeah, for me, Josh Taylor.
You know what? I think that I'm gonna agree with you. And originally I had a Ramirez pick, but I've been watching some tape. I've been watching some recent fights, and I think that once Ramirez gets past Postel, I'll put him at number 1. But I know I'm gonna get a lot of heat if I don't have nobody from the UK in my top. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Josh Taylor. He earned it. He's the man at the weight right now. He really dug down deep to get that win against Prograis, so he earned the right to be the top dog. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna stick with Taylor.
Yeah, I remember when Michael was over here, Michael Hunter, obviously, when he was over here, training in that McGuigan's gym when he was in the build-up to fight Martin Bacoli. That was the same gym at the time where Josh Taylor was training, and while Mike was in the gym, I think it was the night before or something like that, I was with him the next day, and I said, hey, this guy here, Josh Taylor his name is, he's the future at 140, man. And he said to me, oh, I wasn't sure he was even at 140. I saw him sparring a middleweight yesterday, and he was whooping the middleweight all over the ring. So yeah, it goes to show. Yeah, man, he is something special. But anyway, going down to lightweight, 135, such a hot division at the minute. Obviously there's a few guys that have kind of just stepped up to the weight.
Easy pick.
All right.
Easy pick.
All right. I'll come to you in a sec.
Easy pick.
I'll come to you in a sec.
Easy pick.
Oh, you've thrown me off track now. Yeah, there's a few guys that have stepped up to the weight recently, like Lee Selby. For me, hasn't really. He's had, I think, 2 fights there. Ricky Burns, obviously, he just beat him. But yeah, he hasn't really been there long enough for me to consider him one of the top dogs just yet. So he's out the runnings for me, as much as I'm a big fan of his. Obviously, you've got Gervonta Davis, another guy that's only recently moved up. He's only had that one fight against Yuriorkis Gamboa. Even though he was able to get him out there in the 12th round, it was very much a difficult fight for him, despite Gamboa breaking his shoes and his foot at some point in the early rounds. But for me, Hasim, I agree with you. It is an easy pick, and it's Vasily Lomachenko.
Easy pick for you, right? Listen, let me tell you something. Vasily Lomachenko gets in the ring with Devin, the Dream, Haney. He's going to leave the ring with 2 defeats. And I think Devin Haney is the best thing to happen to boxing since like I don't even know, maybe a Sugar Ray Leonard, maybe a Sweet Pea Whitaker, even almost. We're gonna see what happens when he steps up at high level competition and fighting world champions. But we'll see if he has what it takes to be on a Floyd Mayweather level. And I just believe that this kid is special. He eats, sleeps, breathes, walks, talks, shits, pisses. He does everything boxing. He is the future of the sport. And I know that he's had some controversial media coverage lately, but I don't think that that's going to bear any harm to him in the long run because his talent is undeniable. He is a machine. He's the best right now. I feel like he's the best at the weight class and the weight class below him. I don't think that kid can be beat. He's another fighter, like I said, Andrade, Spence. He's another fighter that I believe will retire undefeated. And I just think I think Lomachenko is very special. He is a very special fighter, but I don't think he is as special as Devin Haney. I don't think that that Devin Haney would lose to him. I mean, as simple as I could put it, I don't think Lomachenko can beat Devin Haney. And if this was 2 years ago, I would pick Lomachenko, but it's not. It's now, and I think from this time and going forward, I think Devin Haney has 135 on lock.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be said that Vasily Lomachenko's obviously given away advantages fighting at 135. It's not his best weight to be at. Obviously, you know, he's been there for 4 fights now. Obviously against Linares when he was down in that fight, against Pedraza, which was for me an excellent chess match and a very tough fight. It was very close in my eyes anyway, not on the scorecards when you look back. And then when he got in there with Crolla, he wasn't really in any trouble there. Crolla was easy pickings for him there, to be honest. And then against Luke Campbell, it was a tactical affair, even though he was just a bit better in pretty much every department, Lomachenko. But Devin Haney's absolutely huge for lightweight, so that would be a big factor, I feel, in the fight. And you know,
and not to mention Devin Haney isn't finished growing.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, Devin Haney hasn't finished growing, but I just think obviously what Lomachenko's done at other weights, and you know how good he is and stuff like that. I've just got to label him as the man. Obviously, I've said it before. You know, Devin Haney's been on this show a couple of times, and he is the goods. You know, he's he's. Like I say, the way he's moved in his career with his own promotional stable and stuff like that, I like what he's done. But the opponents just haven't been quite up there really. And some of his performances, even though he's barely lost a round, I don't know, sometimes I feel like he's carried guys when he probably could have stepped on the gas and got him out of there. Not that that's a disrespect to him, but you know, I don't know, man. I want to see him step it up. It's as simple as that. I just want to see the bigger fights for him. And obviously, we have to mention Teofimo Lopez. You know, in his last fight, absolutely obliterated Richard Comey. I couldn't see that coming if you asked me 100 times about what I thought of the fight, because Richard Comey's a tough Ghanaian, and he can crack himself. And to see him, you know, get banged out in 2 rounds was just super impressive from Teofimo Lopez. And obviously, you've got to give a shout to Ryan Garcia. You know, some people don't like him, some people hate the fact that he gets all the women and he's got about 2 million Instagram followers, but this guy's a problem as well, you know, incredibly quick hands, and you know, he can punch as well. I think him and Devin had 6 fights in the amateurs. I think they're 3 apiece, so we want to see that fight get made in the near future. There's talk of it, and also Teofimo Lopez has been tweeting Devin Haney with some comments, I think, the other week as well. So we want to see these fights get made, and I'd love to see those 3 guys get in some kind of freeway type of fight. You know, those 3 guys are the future.
The way that Garcia dismantled Fonseca after that, Gervonta Davis actually had a go with him. It was like it wasn't an easy fight for Gervonta Davis. And Ryan Garcia just came out and sparked him ASAP. first time he hit him. Boom, it's over. And I think that speaks volumes for Mr. Garcia. He is definitely a threat, but like I said before, and this is no disrespect to anybody at 135 or fighting at 135, but I just think that Devin is the fighter to stay away from. I think that he's going to wind up unifying the division, maybe even being undisputed if he gets the right fight. Devin Haney is the future at 135 until he decides he wants to move up. I know his dad has talked about him moving up. I haven't heard him say it, but I know his dad is talking about him moving up to 140. So that's something I'm looking forward to as well, because now, like I said before, it's looking like he's going ahead and taking the path of Floyd Mayweather. And if he can do that, if he can dominate and Devin Haney can grow into a full-fledged welterweight and dominate these divisions, dominate these fights, win these fights, continue to be on the winning side, then I believe he'll go down as a Hall of Fame fighter, and he absolutely deserves it because he sacrificed his entire life for it.
And as you mentioned, he's been involved in a bit of controversy lately. I'm just going to touch on that. I don't really want to go too deep on it because, he's kind of retracted, I suppose, what he said, and he's apologized and stuff like that. But yeah, it was silly, really, because he's a guy that I'd compare to Anthony Joshua in terms of being a top fighter and never saying a bad thing, never saying anything controversial, and basically being a bit of a brand in himself as well as a top athlete. So I see their careers. They're both. Devin's obviously a future superstar. I believe that. So do you. Anthony Joshua's a current superstar, and they've both been kind of carefully guided in terms of what they say. It's been very sensible. And then obviously Joshua had the whole thing with Eddie Chambers where he sent that silly thing about race, and now Devin Haney said something he shouldn't have said. So it's a bit of a shame, really, on his part. But
was that real? Was that what Denny Joshua said? Was that real? That was really him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Who knows if it was really him who sent the message, but it came from his account for sure. Like Eddie's still got the messages now. Like I've actually took his phone and gone on Instagram and it's there,
Oh wow, that's crazy.
He hasn't even bothered to unsend the messages, which is weird.
Yeah, I know, because you can unsend them on Instagram.
Exactly.
But when I seen that, I have to go back and look at that, because when I seen it, I was like, nah, he wouldn't say nothing like that. It was like really, really off the charts. It was like, and then it was like he was being racist towards his own kind, so it was really weird. I didn't know what was going on with that.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to all just kind of get swept under the rug, and unlike Devin Haney, I've got to give him a little bit of credit because he came out pretty much straight away. I think it was like a day after. And he addressed the situation, and I admire him for doing that. I just wish the whole thing didn't happen. But moving on, forget all that stuff. Moving on, let's go down to super featherweight now, 130 over here. Like I say, Jamel Herring was on last week's show, one of my very favourite guys in boxing. No one can say a bad word about him. I love him to pieces, but I've got to give it to Miguel Berchelt, man. I have to.
Yeah, I'm going to go with JoJo. Just because I believe JoJo will win a fight. JoJo Diaz, obviously, he proved a lot to me in his last fight against Tevin Farmer. Man, he really. A lot of people thought Tevin Farmer was gonna walk away with another win on that one, and JoJo was no sir, Bob. He learned from his loss. He picked back up. I think he's the man at 130 right now. Not to take anything away from Jamel, because I think Jamel can beat anybody, and that's coming from watching this man fight for years, and I don't think there's a fight you can put Jamel Herring in that he can't win.
Yeah, I've definitely got him beat in Carlframpton when that eventually happens, by the way. But yeah, the way Jojo Diaz beat Tevin Farmer was very, very impressive. Jojo Diaz obviously sustained that horrific cut, I think, in the first or second round. His corner man, I said it on last week's show when I was speaking with Jamel, that corner man must have put a spell on that cut or something, because I've never seen the cut just completely not be a problem that quick. I mean, he is up there with, that was corner man moment of probably the last 5 years or so. I'm trying to wonder, if I was a boxer myself, who would I want in my corner? Either that guy or Billy Nelson. I'm not sure. It's tough.
Billy Nelson. Billy Nelson. Don't get me started on Billy Nelson. Please don't get me started on Billy Nelson. Please.
Oh gosh, we'll leave Billy Nelson alone. Let's go down to featherweight. 126. Again, I know I know who you're gonna say, but the person you're gonna say is definitely, without doubt, I think one of the most exciting fighters in world boxing. By the way, I know you're going to say Shakur Stevenson, so that's what I'm talking about. One of the most exciting fighters in the world of boxing, but obviously hasn't really got the names on the resume just yet. And I'm not disrespecting him in any way, because the way he's moved on to a world title he's 13-0 and he's a world champion. He has been fast tracked, and he has wanted to be fast tracked even quicker than this. He's a bit annoyed that it took this long to get a belt. He's crazy in some ways, but we love him for that. His boxing in the ring is unbelievable, but just purely because he hasn't yet got the names on the resume, for me, it's Gary Russell Jr.
That's fair. That's a fair pick, and it's really it's a sensible pick. Gary's been to the top. He's been in world championship fights. He's fought Lomachenko. He's fought so many top level fighters. It would make sense to put him at the top. But these are our personal, who we think is the best at each weight class. And I think that Shakur Stevenson is hands down the best fighter to come into boxing since 2016. And I think that he just man, that kid is amazing. It wouldn't make sense for me to stand here and basically just praise all his attributes, because I've gone down. There's videos on YouTube of me. I think it was like his 4th or 5th fight. I sat down and interviewed Shakur because I knew he was going to be that special. And I remember one of the questions that I asked him in our interview was, how is it going to feel when you become world champion and everything that you and your grandfather and your father, your parents, all your brothers and sisters have all known you're capable of for your entire life? How is it going to feel when you make that happen? And I can't wait to see him again. We'll do another interview, I'm sure, and he'll be able to tell me how that felt. But that just goes to show that I've seen it in this kid. I've seen the talent, I've seen the drive, I've seen the commitment that this kid has to the science, and it's not like anything you see nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Shakur after he won the belt, and he pretty much, I'm going to tell you what he said to basically answer the question. He said that when he first won the belt, it was like he was very excited, but now he said, I don't really think of it much. Like, it doesn't really mean much to me. It's like, he actually said, it's like a new pair of sneakers. That's what he said about the belt. So he's got his eye on becoming undisputed, I think. So that's his goal, I believe.
Yeah.
Or perhaps moving up and becoming a multi-weight world champion. I can't remember. It was one of those two. Anyway, he's certainly a guy that I think is just really the future of the sport. He's just unbelievable to watch. Gary Russell, I should say as well, obviously that one loss that came to Lomachenko, people forget, was a majority decision loss. He was able to do well in that fight despite losing it. I think he's right up there, super, super skillful, but I don't think he's going to be hanging around at 126 for too long. He's told me a few times that he will be moving up, and he said, I think in the last couple of weeks, he's gonna skip 130, and he's going to move right from 126 to 135. He's putting the likes of Devin Haney on notice, he's been saying. So yeah, that'll be quite crazy if we get to see him up there. I think it's a bit too much to jump 2 weight classes. He's not the tallest guy. Going down to Super-Bantamweight, again, I'm quite high on this guy. He's 25 years of age, so he's not really like, super duper young in terms of, like, last year we were at the end of the year we did like a young fighter of the year. I can't remember if he got in my top 3 young fighters or not, because some of the best young fighters are the likes of Teofimo Lopez and stuff like that for 2019. But Emmanuel Navarrete, for me, very, very active as a champion. The way he beat Isaac Dogbe in both of those fights was tremendous. And for me, he is the number 1 fighter at that weight. But a shout out to the likes of Brandon Figueroa, who is on the come up as well. He holds a belt as well. And Murajon Akhmadaliev as well, who beat Daniel Roman in a brilliant fight as well. I think they're trying to get the rematch on, but he's a tremendous fighter. He's only 8-0.
Yeah, that's tough. I will have to agree with you with
Navarrete.
Emmanuel Navarrete. I think that Navarrete. I think that he definitely secured his position at that weight, and to be such a little guy with such a high knockout percentage speaks in and of itself. So I think he's the most dangerous fighter, and he is the best right now at that weight.
And down to bantamweight now. A little shout out to a couple of guys who are just kind of 2-3, the likes of Luis Neary. I'd like to see him box Nordinu Bali as well. Both those guys undefeated world champions, but head and shoulders above them. The monster, even though in his last fight it was probably the best fight I've seen for about 5 years between him and Nonito Donaire, where he showed he is in fact human.
Yeah.
Naoya Inoue, no disputing that from you, Hasim.
No, yeah, Inoue definitely got that one on lock. I mean, what a brilliant performance against Nonito Donaire, and Nonito Donaire, who was also trained by Kenny Adams. And, he deserves all the credit. He deserves all the credit. He put on a pound-for-pound worthy performance against a veteran who's still not in his prime, but still definitely got a lot of go in him. And he's top dog right there at that weight. I don't think anybody wants to mess with that man right there. Not at that weight.
Yeah, and going down to super fly, I'm just gonna, I think, because this is where, I'm not gonna lie, my knowledge kind of gets a bit cloudy when I go down to these weights, because I'm not one of those guys that likes to watch these cards in Japan at like 3 p.m. and weird stuff like that. So you've got to give it.
I'm not too familiar with the tiny guys either. I know the little guys, but the tiny guys, I know.
Encyclopedia.
I know. I think. I mean, Chocolatito is probably the lowest that I would know.
Yeah.
At that weight class.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Chocolatito is one of the top guys, but some people would now say he's probably past it, despite picking up a world title against our very own Cao Yafai last time out. Obviously, Cao Yafai was a guy who was the longest reigning world champion out of the current champions at the time here in Britain, so it was sad to see him lose his belt that he had since 2016, but obviously since Gonzalez got knocked out in 2 back-to-back fights with Saxil Wangek, also known as Rungvisai, you'd probably have to say he's the number 1 dog. I'm just going to quickly look at flyweight. Yeah, there's a Japanese guy there called Kosi Tanaka, who's definitely not to be overlooked. 15-0 with 9 knockouts, and of course Julio Cesar Martinez, 16-1. Very good fighter as well. Both of those guys, probably the top 1 and 2. That's probably it, really. I don't think I'm going to go down to light fly and the rest of that. But that really wraps up pretty much everything here. We've done all the talking for you. We've gone through the weights from welterweight downwards. I hope it's been something you've been interested in. Next week, we're going to discuss the other boxing topics, which, by the way, will be, I'll just do a little spoiler now, the topics for next week will be... should fighters who tested positive for PEDs be allowed in the Hall of Fame, and should the only way you fight for a title be that you've beaten a top 5 ranked contender? So they will be our topics for next week. Just before all the talking is done, it's now time to depart ways with Hasim Jr. Hasim, thanks once again for coming on this week's show. If you've got any closing words before I bring in our first guest, now is the time to take it away.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to the show, supporting the BoxHard Podcast. I want to thank my team, Team Rockman. I want to thank my sports marketing team, BDEF, the best in the world. And I want to thank anybody who's showing any type of support with the follow, with the comment, with the tweet, anything, any type of support. You never know how far that could carry a fighter. So I just want to thank everybody, and I also want to thank Bones for coming onto the show. There's been a huge help in my career, my dad's career, Michael's career, hundreds of fighters in the Las Vegas area. He's helped get to the next level, or even if he would just help them by opening up their gym for them to hit the bag for a round. We appreciate you, Bones. We thank you for coming on the show. It's great to have you. And like I said, thank everybody for the support. Please stay safe in the midst of this COVID-19. Don't touch your face. Wash your hands. Stay away from people. Practice social distancing. And God bless to everybody.
God bless to everyone. Well said, Hasim Jr. Just before we wrap up, all the talking is the last thing to do, and that, of course, is to welcome our sole guest on this week's podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBA Super-Bantamweight world champion. It is, of course, Mr. Bones Adams. Bones, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure, my friend. It's my pleasure. So a typical opening question really for you, Bones. What's your earliest memory of first putting on a pair of gloves?
I was 5 years old. I remember putting on a pair of gloves and going out and beating up a duffel bag full of sand. And then I remember my first fight, actually. So
excellent. And tell me about, obviously you first put on this pair of gloves, you hit this duffel bag full of sand, which is excellent. Where did that kind of take you? Obviously you boxed as an amateur for a while. What was the journey from, like I say, hitting a bag full of sand up until actually fighting for the first time?
You know what? I don't. Well, I just remember. Yeah, it was sawdust. I'm sorry, it was sawdust, and so it wasn't hard, but a mixture of both. But I just remember the fight because the pictures and stuff started bringing me back. And I remember the fight. I remember hitting the bag and stuff under the garage, and then I just something I used to watch it all the time. So I remember Hagler, Hearns, all those guys, and I just used to watch them and I kind of taught myself on what to do. I like that style and what they were doing, So I tried to mimic what they were doing.
And April, we're in April now, obviously. This is a big month for yourself. You turned professional 30 years ago this month.
Oh, shit, I didn't realize that. Holy crap.
There you go. I'm all about the facts.
Yes.
Do you remember having any nerves before your first pro fight?
No. I believe me, no, not at all. But oddly enough, it's so funny you should say this because April 1st is when I became basically a professional trainer 3 years ago. So oddly enough, I turned pro in April and I became a professional trainer in April. Very weird.
That's excellent. I mean, April for me is the best month. It's my birthday month, so there's another one.
Oh, happy birthday, brother! Happy birthday.
Thank you. So early on in your career, Bones, you boxed in a whole host of states on the way up. From your debut up until around about your 23rd fight, you boxed in Tennessee, Missouri, Michigan, Louisiana, South Carolina, Nevada. Was it good traveling around and gaining experience boxing all different types of guys from completely different places?
Oh, definitely. I like going Mississippi or so. I was down there and I'm fighting a hometown guy. The next thing you know, they're cheering for me, and that was something that I wanted to do. I love turning crowds and making them fans of mine. Taking away from people. I love that. I love traveling. I love going to other people's hometowns. I love to see other people's countries. Italy. Just you name it. And I just love it. Different cultures, different just everything. I love that.
And as I say, you turned professional in April 1990. From April that year to December, only 8 months obviously, but you boxed 9 times. And then in the year 1991, you boxed 12 times. So you were very active in your first couple of years as a professional. Then April 1992, almost 2 years to the day since turning pro, you box Javier Diaz. You go 12 rounds for the first time. What do you remember about that fight?
I remember it was where I was living at the time, Carmel, Illinois. We had rented a gym and was on live on Madison Square Garden Network. And I was signed to them, and it was for the WBC title. And I just remember, I come out, and at that point in time, I had a lot of hair, and I had hair on top of my head, just standing straight up. And I remember coming out and seeing hundreds of kids with the same haircut and the same hairstyle, and my body, my shirts and stuff, and it's just amazing, amazing feeling. Tough guy too. I remember he was really tough. I caught him with some clean shots to take most people out, and he was just standing right in front of me. So.
Yeah, tough guy with a lot of experience back then, obviously, for that WBC Continental Americas title. And also, Diaz himself, like I say, with that experience, he'd boxed Marco Antonio Barrera a couple of fights before boxing you. You shut him out, though, over 12 rounds. A good experience learning fight for yourself. Then you'd gather 3 more wins before boxing for the IBF Bantamweight World title against Orlando Canizales. It was a close fight through those first 10 rounds, and then in round 11, I've got to say it, one of the strangest stoppages I've seen. What happened in that fight, Bones, and how did the fight end up in France of all places? Obviously you were young at the time. I think you were 18 as well. Remarkable.
Yes. You know what? I didn't know. So I should stay with my previous promoter, Bobby Goodman, with Madison Square Garden. But my dad insisted on going with Cedric Kushner. And Cedric Kushner, he had told us, now mind you this now, I'm a young kid. I was 17 at the time, 18. Barely probably just turned 18. And he had told us, listen, we're taking France, it'll be neutral territory, neither one of you've been there before. And me, me being a fighter, I was just okay, and I believed it, And so we went over there to France. As soon as we got there, then next thing you know, they're like, hey, welcome, nice to have you back. You're talking to Orlando. So I was like, what? I was just like, what? I was just very shocked, But he had lied. He'd been there and fought before in that same place. And so that just really messed me up. And because I was just a kid, And then next thing you know, one of the judges came by. He's from Texas. Give Orlando a hug. Hey, man, I'll be great working with you and stuff, I'm like, oh, man, in my mind, this fight, they're just trying to screw me. So my mind wasn't into the fight when it started. And then in the very first punch of the third round, I gave her the right hand from Orlando, and both sides of my jaw was broke. I fought until the 11th round with both sides of my jaw broke, doing quite well. Whoever won those last couple rounds win the fight, and my dad stops it. What? Why would you stop it? Well, I don't want to see you get hit anymore. 9 rounds I got hit with my jaw broke. What's 1.5 more when I could have been a world champion? I was that close to beating them. It just made me very angry. So.
Yeah, because I remember at the time the commentary team had the fight scored evenly up until that 11th round.
It was,
obviously, you had a point deducted in that 11th round as well, which may have cost you the fight really. But you didn't seem initially angry. It was kind of weird. Like I say, when I saw the stoppage, I watched it back the other day, and I was listening to what the commentary team was saying, and I think one of the commentators actually said, if I was Bones Adams right now, I would be furious. But you didn't seem to be angry straight away. Was there a bit of confusion initially, I guess?
Well, mind you again, first of all, I'm not really like you aren't kind of smarting, but there's nothing I could do at the time, no matter what. It's been done, first of all. So why would I get angry? Second of all, both sides of my jaw have been broke for 9 rounds with Orlando Canizales hitting me on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like just kind of like in a shock. Like the whole situation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Once I got back, I flew. It was in France. I flew with no pain medication, nothing, back to the United States to get my jaw fixed. Holding my jaw up in the airport, wrapping up a blank airplane blanket into a roll and putting it under my chin for the flight. You know what I mean? I was just in shock. But once I got back, I just what did my dad do to me? It's just like she made me very angry. I'm angry still today. You know, but at the point in time, there's no reason to fuss and holler. I mean, it's been done. What can I do? What can I do instead of act like a little baby? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
I
understand. After the Canizales fight, you were served with some more misfortune. You lost your next 2 fights in a row because you dislocated your shoulder in each fight. That's kind of crazy, really. I mean, it all just came tumbling down at that point.
Yeah, it sure did. That then I guess I took some time off with the broken jaw. Came back. I knew something was wrong with my shoulder. It was against Frankie Toledo. My shoulder when I jumped rope was just really painful and stuff. But then again, I'm just used to it. So I just went in for the fight, and I was just playing with Frankie. I was just trying to get back into swinging things, beating his body down, slow him down, and I was doing that. And then he came up and under me, being a southpaw, on my left hand, on my arm, and it just okayed him. And I was still trying to fight with my arm out, but the referee's like, "No, you can't." He knew what had happened. He was a chiropractor, so.
Yeah.
And then then after that, the doctors would not do anything. The doctors, oh no, it may never happen again. It's Mr. So I was in there boxing a guy that shouldn't be in the ring with me, playing with him. So okay, my shoulder feels good. It dislocates again. I just dropped the guy with the right hand. Okay, good. The next time I went to finish him off with the left hook, and my shoulder dislocates again. And this time even worse. You see, the only thing was just my skin and my bone, just pressed against my skin.
Wow.
Then they fixed me up. They finally did the surgery at University of Kentucky, and it's still together. It's still today. So.
And like I say, you did return to winning ways. You put together a 6-fight unbeaten streak, including a draw against Edwin Santana before running into Kevin Kelly.
Even that one, I beat him, Edwin Santana. I was in his hometown. I clearly beat him. So it was clear. It was just in his hometown decision that it was my bad luck. So.
Yeah, he was a good fighter, by the way, Edwin Santana.
No, a tremendous fighter. But I mean, did you watch that fight?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Watch that fight and then tell me there was a draw. I mean, come on, man, it's crazy.
I'm gonna definitely do that. But like I say, after that 6-fight unbeaten streak, that's when the Kevin Kelly fight took place, September 9th, 1995 at the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Some of the names, by the way, on that card were unbelievable. I mean, you had Johnny Tapia, Eric Morales, Gennaro Hernandez, James Toney, Oscar De La Hoya, and last but not least, Butterbean was on the card as well.
Butterbean I fought a lot on cards.
Yeah. But tell me about your draw against Kevin Kelly, which obviously was a few fights before he boxed Prince Nassim.
Right. Well, with that one, first of all, I wasn't a 26-pounder, but they just told me to get ready for a title fight. So I didn't give a shit. So me and Kevin knew each other, but they didn't tell me. They just told me just get ready for somebody. Me being the person and fighter I am, I'm like, okay. So I just got ready for a fight, and then. Once I got here to Vegas the week of the fight, that's when I found out I was fighting Kevin. But what happened in that fight was this. I'm a boxer puncher, mainly boxer. He's a puncher, aggressive, come-ahead puncher. So then I hit him with the right hand in the first round, and then he hesitated to come in. So I thought I was winning the fight, controlling the fight, because I made him fight my fight. But here, some of the commentating, and I think George was on my side as well, but I'm not sure, but here's a commentator that I should take it to Kevin. Why would I fight another man's fight? That's like me going in there and saying, I want back up Mike Tyson. I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's just not the, I'm going to outbox Sugar Ray Leonard. It's not, why would I fight their fight? That's not how you beat them. So I feel like I won that fight, but yeah, it is what it is, and it's been a draw.
So just to get that right, you say you literally found out on fight week that you were boxing Kevin Kelly and you still managed to get the draw. And in your eyes, you know, a deserved win. That's incredible.
I mean, yeah. But I do gotta say this. Too as well. Like when I was boxing outside, we were fighting outside, and me and Kevin was in the ring. I think it was on the fourth round. I was there thinking, man, I'd hate to be watching this. It was such a horrible fight. I swear to God, I swear to my kids, I thought that I hate to be watching this fight right now.
And you thought about that during the fight.
Yes, during the fight. During the fight. I swear.
And then, if we fast forward to the year 2000, March the 4th, the best night of your life, it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you boxed the then WBA Super-Bantamweight world champion Nestor Garza, a tough Mexican with a big right hand. However, it would be your time to shine. You went on to win a unanimous decision over 12 rounds at the Mandalay Bay. Talk us through it, Bones.
Yes. Well, you know what? On that one, too, you know, I was determined. I was like, listen, there's no way in hell I'm going to lose this fight. And the thing is, I like to be told you can't do it. And the situation with this is one of the situations that everyone, even people would come into my gym where I'm training and go, oh, I know that kid, man. He I don't know if he can beat him or not. And even my dad come in like a week and a half before the fight, watch me spar, and he goes, oh, you box like that, you lose it. I'm like, what? Like, it just, but I was very determined and working hard, and I was an 8-1 underdog. All right, we get to the fight. I weigh in, make weight. The next day, I wake up, and I feel tremendous. I've never, ever felt as good, as strong, and ready, no aches, no pains, as I did that morning. So I had $980 to my name. I gave it to my friend and said, go bet on me. I'm 8-1. And I called my friends and said, listen, I'm winning it. Bet the house, bet the farm. I don't care about everything you can. I'm winning this fight. And just round one, went out there, dropped him round one. And then I was just coasting along, and he got cut in round 3. So then I had to take it easy. I couldn't go toward the cut because of the headbutt. If I stopped it, then it'd be a draw. So coasted. The next round, round 5, I dropped him again. I didn't think he was going to get up. And then next thing you know, I was just playing with him. Round 7 was one of my best rounds. I loved it. I was just playing, just enjoying myself. And then first to round 8, I broke my hand. So I had my right hand. So I had to just finish the fight.
That's incredible. I mean, like I say, even hearing you talk about the fight and how at points of the fight you had to fight smart. You mentioned the cut. You know, it's hard for fighters to, you know, to understand that during a fight, knowing that you've kind of got to back off a little bit because you don't want it to end up getting stopped to be a technical decision or whatever in a world title fight as well.
I do no right hand. I do no right hand. I do no right hands until after the 4th round. I do none. I went a round and a half without throwing right hands. I just stayed away from it. 2 body shots and stuff, but I knew to stay away from that cut.
That's amazingly clever, especially in a world title fight like that. That's crazy.
Yes.
What was it like? I like to ask this question to world champions. What was it like to become a world champion? How would you describe it? But your story isn't very much like others. You know, it's been well documented. You didn't have the easiest of upbringings. What was it like to become a world champion from the path you started on as a youngster, Bones?
Yeah. You know, just something that I felt like it was my destiny, but it was amazing, and it took me a while to really like sink in and realize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it just took me a while to what's what I'm looking for to adjust, not but just accept it. Hey, I am the champion of the world that I always thought I would be, and I am the champion. And it just took me a while to accept that. But then once it's there, it was just amazing. Mind you, this too. What sucks too is that where I was 8-1 underdog, and he thought he was gonna come in and knock me out. He didn't bring his belt, so I didn't get the enjoyment of putting the belt on either in the ring. You know, so.
And you mentioned,
but it was just incredible.
And you mentioned that you had $980 to your name. You gave it to your friend and said, "Put this on me winning this fight." Do you remember ever collecting the winnings? And if so, did you spend it on anything?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what you spent it on at all?
I went to see. I didn't know how betting works, so I went to the window and I go, "Sorry, you got cash in." I wanted to see his what. You just made us money. You kidding me? We were happy to give it to you, and just was happy. And I know that's how betting works, but he and then I don't know. I just living, I didn't buy nothing, didn't do nothing, just living,
Okay. And, like I say, you won the fight, you made history, you made 2 successful defenses against Andres Fernandez and Ivan Alvarez. Do you want to give me a couple words on either of those fights, particularly the Alvarez one where you had your homecoming in Kentucky?
Well, the first one, I think it was in Minnesota, something like that, on HBO. I went in there with my right hand. My right hand was broken and sparring.
Wisconsin,
I'm looking at no money or 100. Yes, Wisconsin. That's it. Yeah, I was looking at I think it was like 125,000 or nothing. So I took the fight and I actually stopped him with my broken hand. So then I went to my next fight for the next one, and then all of a sudden in training that one I had a broken rib, and I went ahead and just fought that fight as well. I had acupuncture done, and they got me to the fight, and I was just trying to box, just trying to get the win. I really wasn't trying to be impressive or do anything, because I was trying to get the Paulie Ayala fight next. I just wanted to win.
And like I say, you won. You then vacated the world title in order to chase that man Paulie Ayala for the vacant IBO world title.
That situation was very difficult because they told me the second it was my mandatory fight. I had a mandatory, and then all of a sudden the WBA did, and then so I fought the mandatory that they gave me, and they said, "No, you got to fight another one because that was what I just did." And then they said, "Well, before you fight Paulie, you got to fight the mandatory. We're going to strip you." But there's also a precision that one WBA champion fighting another WBA champion oversees any mandatory defense, and they still strip me. We took him to court, man. And then the judge was like, "Go fight this guy, then go fight Paulie." Not knowing that's not how boxing works. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at a $100,000 payday or $500,000 payday. I had to give the title up.
And it sounds quite messy. I didn't really know the ins and outs of that, but was that a difficult decision to kind of make? It seems like you didn't really have much of a choice, really, given the circumstances.
You know what? It's very difficult. Like I said, Netzer didn't even bring the belt into the fight, so I didn't get really become world champion like most people do. Get the strap on and go on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then not only that though, to lose my title, not even in the fight, I had to give it up because I had so many ups and downs in my life and career, but you just block, catch, swing, make a mess, and come back, keep going.
And like I say, the Paulie Ayala fight took place for the vacant IBO world title. The fight ended in a split decision loss for you. However, you felt you did enough to deserve the win, I know. Just tell us about that night once again.
What was it? No, I tell you the truth. Just one of those days, I trained hard. I was ready for the fight. But coming to fight night, to tell you the truth, I really, I just wasn't in the mood to fight, and just wasn't in the mood. And then all of a sudden, in the third round, I get caught with the left hand, which wasn't bad. It wasn't like the ropes didn't hold me up. It just stagnant me a little bit. Then, matter of fact, I even came back to basically win the round, but that woke me up, got put the fire. The fire is turned on. I was going. I felt like I won the fight easily. And for some reason they gave it to Paulie, and I have no clue. For some reason, also, never before have they. I mean, it was one good shot, and the ropes didn't hold me up. That was it. They scored it a 10-8 round for him, like he had dropped me, hurt me really bad, or the ropes held me, and that is not how you score boxing. And then also another reason why he had won. He ran the whole last round, and I think 2 of the judges gave it to him. The last, who run? I'm clearly hitting them with body shots. Chase snapped him, and they gave it to him. So then again, things happen, I guess. But it wasn't had nothing to do with Paulie. Me and Paulie, we still get together, and talk, and we're friends. As a matter of fact, I just wished him happy birthday yesterday. So.
That's really cool because, like I say, you guys have got the history, and you know, unless I'm mistaken, I think I read somewhere that after the first Ayala fight, it was like a turning point for yourself, really, in terms of your performances after that. Were you ever the same again after that, Bones?
Never. The funny thing is, too, is like I was in Big Bear for the training camp. Johnny Tappy and I were good friends, you know. Johnny was up there. Johnny was like, you know, if it goes to the decision, they're going to give it to Polly. I go, no. He said, I'm telling you, we're going to give it to Polly. Watch. I go, no way. This is my hometown. I trust in the judges. I believe, you know, if I win the fight, they're going to give it to me. They're not going to screw me over. And then when I know that I won the fight and they took it from me, it just took everything out of me. Took everything out of me, you know. And I'm like, why? That's really, the second I didn't try. I didn't care. I'm like, why? Just why? You know? It just took the life out of me, you know?
What I'm unsure of is, obviously, you know, every fighter wants to become a world champion. You became a world champion. That fight is the one that got you in the history books. The fight with Ayala, what was so kind of, because it sounds like it was incredibly important. It was incredibly important for you to win that fight. But then obviously on the day of the fight, as you mentioned, you just didn't really feel up to it. And then, you know, you felt you did enough to win it. But why was that fight? Because it sounds like, the way you're describing it, it sounds like that fight was bigger than fighting for a world title, unless I'm reading it wrong.
Oh no, it was. I mean, here's the thing. With that fight, if I beat Paulo Ayala, I beat Paulo Ayala, which you mean is fucking tremendous champion himself, and, you know, had beaten Johnny Tapia, did a lot of great things. And then the next thing you know, though, I was going to fight Eric Morales. That's the fight I wanted. I wanted to fight with Eric Morales so bad, because I feel like, and I just knew that I just knew how to beat him, and that's the fight I won. And when it was just taken away from me, and plus it would be over $1 million payday, and that was like a life goal of mine, you know. And so then once they had taken it from me, it took everything out of me. I'm like, there it goes again. Like, I was just kind of messed me up. That's all, you know.
And, you know, 6 months later, after the first fight, you did manage to get the rematch. This time, Ayala won wide, unanimously. I mean, one word that just jumps in my head is frustration. I'm guessing this must have been a frustrating time.
It really was. You know, I just didn't, you know, it was me. You know, it just messed me up tremendously. And I'm like, you know, some people come back swinging and fighting. Some people calling a hold. Some people just, I was one just like calling a hold. I just like, you know, just to myself. I wasn't around nobody. Wasn't doing nothing. Just didn't care. I felt like, you know, like again, I wanted that fight with Eric Morales. And then here it is again. I'm fighting a guy. They put me back in the guy. They just screwed me. I know that I clearly won. So what's the point of boxing? You know, what's the point of even trying? I didn't really train for that too much either. So I should have canceled it, but I didn't. The second one.
Yeah. And obviously after that, you boxed twice more against Guti Espedes and Manuel Cepeda before deciding to retire from boxing. However, the retirement was short-lived. You were back 3 years later. Bones, did you miss boxing? Is that what made you want to come back, or were you facing like financial difficulties at the time? What made you come back?
Well, you know, here's the thing is, at the time I made some really good investments, and I was okay, and so that's the reason why I just disappeared. But then I missed boxing, so I came back, and then once I started coming back, you know, that's when I had misfortunes in the money, because the real estate over here in the United States, you know, I just where I had the houses and apartments and trailer parks. I mean, I was worth a lot, and it just went away and disappeared, you know. But the desire to fight again was back. I really wanted to fight. It had nothing to do with money. And to tell you the truth, just the way I see things, if you want to box just for money, it's the wrong sport.
Definitely.
You know, if it's just for the money, definitely the wrong sport. You can't box for just the money. You just can't. You got to really want it.
Yeah.
So.
And like I say, you came back. You had another 5 fights before retiring permanently in 2010 after that loss to Edel Ruiz. At what point, Bones, did you open your gym, like I say, which is now a bit of a hot spot in Las Vegas?
You know what? It's been here for years. Probably since around 2003. But what happened was, these last like I said, 3 years ago, April, we just realized that, I became a trainer. So that's what really opened it up back here, because all the other people, there's a lot of people that was back here in my gym would claim it was theirs and not knowing it's been mine the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said, so no one knew it was my gym because everyone kept claiming it as their gym.
Okay. And some of the fighters that train out of that gym, you've got, just name me a few of them. I know that obviously you got the likes of Keith Hunter in there, his older brother Michael as well, a good friend of mine, the Rackman brothers as well. Who else goes in that gym?
I mean, pretty much just everybody, you know, just I always get surprise visits, you know, it's always great, you know, when people just come through the door, you know. Floyd's even been here, not to train, just to check it out and watch. You know, Manny Pacquiao trains through here. Anytime Manny fights in Vegas, he's here. Danny Jacobs, just pretty much it. Triple G was just here probably a couple of weeks ago. Just, you know, I have everybody.
Blair Cobbs as well.
Oh yeah, Blair's here. Yeah.
Excellent.
Blair was just here today. So.
Excellent. All good people. I want to ask you, Bones. Obviously, you know, like I say, you started on a tough path from the very beginning. Went on to become a world champion, like we touched on. The fights after that. Now, you know, your life now, being a trainer in this gym in Las Vegas, a bit of a hot spot, like I say. Are you a happy man? Do you feel happy? Are you content with the way things have turned out?
Yes, so far, yeah. You know, they are what they are. You know, they're going to be what they're going to be and stuff, you know, and I've been very blessed these last 3 or 4 years, you know, as a trainer, me learning, you know what I'm saying? How, you know, my friend Brandon Woods, he was a trainer for 20 years, helped Kenny Adams and stuff, you know. He helped me become the trainer right now, because there's a difference between boxing and teaching people and knowing how, you know, everybody isn't like you and don't think like you. And that's the main thing is, you know, I knew that I can't train, being a trainer, I couldn't train people the way I fought, because I know it's just me. You know, I fought the way I was going to. But, you know, the verbiage, the speaking to them, talking to them, was common sense to me isn't common sense to them. And now I'm realizing that, and I'm getting through to these guys, you know, doing quite well.
Excellent. That's great to hear. I want to ask you a couple of questions, like I say, about your career. Just some kind of short, kind of quick-fire-ish questions. I want to ask you, who was the hardest puncher you ever faced, Bones?
You know what? That's funny. Man, what's his name? If you, the only one I feel like is this kid. He's a Filipino kid. Southpaw. He was at the LA Forum. Or not the Forum, but the Olympic Auditorium. And Ismail Pumar, I think is his name. You know, that's the only one that guy hit me so freaking hard. The only time that I've been hit and cut by a punch.
Wow. And
the funny thing is, even afterwards, like, people would say, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen people move like that." And punch. But man, because I don't want to get freaking hit. That's why. That's why.
What was his name? I'm trying to find his name.
Ismail Pumar, or something. His last name Pumar. I think it's probably about 94. But yeah, I think 1994.
Okay, yes.
Ismail Pumar.
Yeah. Isagani Pumar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's him. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And who was the best fighter that you ever boxed? I'm guessing you're gonna either say Paulie or Kevin.
No, Orlando Canizales.
Okay.
Orlando was definitely by far the best.
Okay. And I was going to ask you this question. I like to ask this one as well. If you could go back in time, perhaps, and fight someone that you didn't get the chance to fight, who would it be? But I think you're going to say Eric Morales because you kind of said that already.
Yeah, I love to fight Eric. You know, Eric is the type of I just knew what he was. You know, Barrera, Marquez, very sharp. They can chain, they can box, they can punch. They can do, you know, Eric was just that one style. And if you hit Eric hard, he's gonna be fighting even harder. So you just put him to sleep, just touch me or just bite. Next thing you know, each round goes by, and you have 100 points.
Okay. And I want to ask you also, Bones, have you got any regrets about your career? If you could go back, like I say, and change anything, would you change anything? Have you got any regrets at all about the way things panned out?
I mean, the only regret is that even after they robbed me from Paulie, that I didn't continue boxing. It just took me. That's the only regret. I didn't stay there. I didn't even try. I didn't try. I didn't stay with it. I should have just stayed with boxing, trained, and I think things would have been different.
Okay. And I want to ask you a couple questions about, again, whenever I speak to anyone from overseas, I like to ask this question. I'm going to put you on the spot a tiny bit here, but the UK fight fans will appreciate your answer to this. When I ask who your favourite UK fighter is of all time, who pops to mind? Who comes to mind? Any era, can be a guy that's retired 100 years ago.
When I was young, Chris Eubanks, I just loved watching him fight. You know, there's something about his personality that you know what I'm saying. Like I liked it. I loved the arrogance that he had. I liked it. I mean,
yeah,
I loved it.
That's a popular answer. A lot of people.
And the funny thing is, his son comes over here still. His son trains here.
Oh, excellent. So you've met Chris Senior then?
I have, but not. I didn't know who he was until now. I know who he is, but I didn't know. It's just one of the things. Like I was next thing I'm at the WBC convention, and then I was just like staring next to the guy next to me, and I was like, oh, man, I was just staring at him, and it was what's his name from Africa, Azuma Nelson. I was just like, Azuma. It's like, I loved watching him as a kid as well. You know, I was like, oh man, Azuma Nelson. He goes, yes. I said, oh man, it was so great, But with Chris Eubanks, I did not know it was him. I actually thought that when I saw him, I thought he was part of a commission. When I saw him, I did not realize that was him, the way he was dressed. So I thought he was commissioned. I didn't know he was Chris Eubanks.
Yeah, he does dress pretty. You can't not notice the clothes he likes to wear. And also something I'd heard, Bones, but I don't think it ever happened. Weren't you supposed to train Amir Khan for a while?
I did train Amir Khan. I was over there for I was in England for in Bolton for 3 weeks, and then in Saudi for 3 weeks with him.
So that was for the Billy Dib fight.
Correct.
Okay.
If he would listen to me, honestly listen. With that Billy Dib fight, you know what? For Amir to be as huge a star as he is, and the things he can do, he was one of the best people to ever train. He never. I mean, he has questions about why would I. Never did. You tell him what to do. He just does it. He tries it, and he implements it. The same way I asked him to fight Billy Dib. There's a certain way I had him to fight. He fought him to the T, and it went exactly the amount of rounds I said it would go. If he fought this way, if he had me at a regular basis, if he can come over here or whatever else, I think that his career could last a lot longer and possibly win another title.
Yeah, because obviously that was his last fight. Was it just a temporary thing? Is it broken off now between you both, or do you see something happening in the future? Where's it been left?
We still talk, but the situation, I think that he is wanting to finish his career up in England. You know what I'm saying? In Bolton, where he lives. You know what I'm saying, for the training, and I'm kind of stuck here because the people that I have now. I just like Keith Hunter. He's one fight away from the world title fight. I got Diego Magdaleno, one fight away from a title fight. I got, these other up-and-coming guys that's ready to go. I got Samuel Vargas that is getting ready to fight Virgil Ortiz, and I got all these fighters coming up, and then I just can't just up and go and leave these guys for 2 months, but I think he's trying to finish his career over there, so.
By the way, I wasn't even going to ask this, but you just reminded me there. Keith Hunter's last fight, what a performance! I was so impressed. Obviously, he boxed Rachmanov again. The pair have got history, but that performance there, unbelievable. When he hurt his arm, I was just so proud of him because I thought when he had one arm, he boxed better than when he had two.
He sure did because he was forced to. See, he remember I was just talking today. His left hand is way better than his right, stronger, better, but he just doesn't use it. So he was forced to use it, and that's what happens when he's forced to do something. But that's why he had such a good performance because he was forced to use that left hand. Yeah, and it was tremendous.
It really was at the Samstown Hotel and Gambling Hall. And just the last real question for you, Bones. If you've got a message that you want to send out to the UK boxing fans in general, and obviously the guys that support you from this side of the pond, what's your message to those guys that support you and obviously support the fighters that you're working with?
You know what? When I was over there, I loved it. I would love to go back. I love how everyone treats me. I love how everyone is over there. And I just want to say thank you to everyone over there as well because I didn't realize that I was as popular as I thought. I'm just like, a fighter, but I have a great support over there, and I'm so happy, and I wish I would have had the opportunity to fight over there as well. But, it is what it is, but hopefully I'll be over there with the fighters someday and win.
We'd love to have you back over here, believe me, my friend. But listen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you and going over your entire career. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and I hope that we can speak again sometime.
Thank you so much. God bless everyone. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting. Keep supporting me, please.
Excellent. All done, Bones. Thank you for that. That was a real pleasure, like I say. It really was, honestly. And I appreciate Hasim Jr. for setting it up. He does quite a few bits with me, Hasim. Every week we basically do little bits. I was going to ask you something, but I didn't really want to ask it during the interview. Obviously, I heard something about how I think maybe ran into some legal troubles or whatever, but I thought we probably just steer clear of that. I didn't really want to go into that. I didn't know if you'd be comfortable talking about that.
It is what it is. Then again, just my luck, whatever else. What happened was this. A guy that I know very good, this is one of my best friends. He used to live with me, so he was a confidential informant for the FBI. I knew he was a confidential informant for the FBI. Mm-hmm. He told me, I heard the conversation. I know he was. So when I retired from boxing, he was like, hey man, I need help over here in the limousine business. Will you help me and stuff? And I'm like, sure. So I was helping out with the limousine business. I knew everything that was going on. What I didn't know, and honestly, I never drove a limousine. All this stuff that they accused me of, they got me for credit card fraud. I didn't even see a credit card. They got me for driving a limousine. They got me for some prostitution in the limousine, drugs in the limousine. I didn't even drive. But what he did was he took himself out and put me in that situation. Wow. And therefore, since I had a name and popper, that's why there's nothing I could do because I knew what was going on. I knew what was going on. And then my attorney was, just plead guilty to nothing because I paid this guy an attorney a lot of money. It's supposed to be another friend of mine. He was plead guilty. It's no big deal. It's going to be a slap on the wrist. They're going to do nothing, no jail time. And I ended up going to prison, not realizing I'm a felon for the rest of my life now. Just the difficulties there for me to get, it's just trouble, man. Wow. And the thing is too, I asked my attorney, where's the evidence? They got tons and thousands of pages, but he never showed it to me. He just told me to take that deal because I think he just wanted to get the money the easy way he could and not work for it.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. That's terrible. That's extremely terrible. When was that? 2015, right?
Well, I went to prison in 2015. Yeah.
Okay. And how long was you away for, Bones?
Just 6 months.
Okay.
But really, it's a long time when you have, like, they tell you when to eat, when to sit, when to shit, when to stand up, just everything, what to wear, when to wear it. I mean, what sucks too is like, just that whole ordeal sucks, but it is what it is, So,
all right, well,
it is what it is.
Hopefully that's buried and way behind you now.
Yes.
Do you want me to put that in there or not?
No, I don't care because I have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
I mean, so I have nothing to hide.
Because
the FBI did what they want to do. There's like one of these things too. I didn't know until then. Like the FBI comes and gets you, right? There's 2 of them, and they're interrogating you. Well, there's no camera. They've got one FBI agent asking questions, one writing down what supposedly was said. But I got another. I read. I didn't say this. But who are they going to believe? That FBI agent or some guy who's supposed to be a criminal?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, man, FBI, they do what they want to do, how they want to do it. They just, oh well, just stay clear of them.
Absolutely. But yeah, I can put that in if you don't mind me putting it in. People will be interested, but
that's fine because listen, like I said, all this stuff that they think I'm an international wire fraud. What it was this for the job that I did. The owner would give us checks to cash, and then we have to give him back. I don't care, and if it was like 1,000, just say 1,022 cents, whatever else, I'll give him $1,000. The next thing you know, after like 2 of those, I give the 22 cents just because I was changed. Who cares? Then they was asking, hey, no, we need the 22 cents too. I'm like, what? Taking everything. But they got me for international wire fraud. For that, they got me for like credit card fraud because the American Express they took like $5 million. I didn't even see I never seen a credit card. What I did, not even looked at a credit card. Then they got me for driving. I never drove. But they got me for all these things to plead guilty to that I did not do. I'm like, so I just kind of like, I don't know, just story of my life.
Surely you don't still speak to that guy anymore. I'm hoping not.
Hell no. Well,
that's a good start right there.
Hell no. Even like where we were close to his ex-wife and stuff. Then even afterwards, she was like, "Hey, what about Bones?" And because she told us, she said, "Hey, what about Bones? He's a big boy. He got himself into the mess. Lying his fucking ass off. He fucking did it."
Like I said, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's absolutely crazy. You didn't deserve that, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Apparently I did because I ended up. Apparently I did.
All right, Bones. Well, like I say, man, I really appreciate your time, and we've gone through everything now. So I'll edit this, put it together, and I'll send you a link when it's done. All right, my brother.
That's fine. Thank you, brother. Okay.
God bless you.
Call me anytime you got my number.
Thank you.
All
I will do. Take care. Okay, and this wraps up episode 236 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Hasim Jr. has been with me for the duration of the show. A massive thank you also to Hasim for helping get this week's guest on the show. And of course, a massive thank you to our guest, our sole guest, the former WBA Super-Bantamweight World Champion, Bones Adams. Bones was fine with me not chopping off that little conversation we had after the official interview had ended there, so that's a little exclusive insight there for our listeners. What a character Bones Adams is. He's been through it all really in life, and for him to achieve a world title and now have a thriving gym in Las Vegas, a hotbed of a gym, puts a smile on my face. He is a true character, one of boxing's true characters. But like I say, thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. Remember to leave us a review on iTunes if you get the time. Remember to tell a friend about us. Remember to stay safe above all else, and we shall see you all again next week with another former world champion as a guest. Until then, take care.